Good afternoon to you, and needless to say, I'm particularly pleased to be back this week for our exclusive presentation of the 21st Football League Cup final between Liverpool and West Ham United.
The moment when the atmosphere really gets to the players. Although for all but three of them the feeling is familiar, the Wembley sound is an emotive force even to the most seasoned professional. And it is, I believe, at its best when, as today, North, which is Liverpool, meets South, which today is West Ham. The three players for whom this is a new experience are Liverpool's Sammy Lee, who's only previously warmed the bench here, Paul Goddard of West Ham, whose only feel of the surroundings was in a six-a-side competition before the 1977 Charity Shield match, and Colin Irwin, who gets his chance because of the injury to the very unlucky Phil Thompson. And the Liverpool lineup shows a late change. Steve Highway plays because David Johnson has a very heavy cold. So the side shows two changes from the one which beat West Ham here in the Charity Shield. Lee and Irwin coming in for Case and Thompson. Alan Devonshire came through a fitness test on his injured ankle this morning, but Paul Allen is not fit, and so Stuart Pearson is the substitute. Goddard and Jimmy Neighbour are the two different names from last May's FA Cup final lineup, and with Frank Lampard were also missing from the match with Liverpool in August. Billy Bonds, for whom this is getting to be a habit, his third appearance at Wembley inside a year, and Ray Kennedy on the left, who takes over the captaincy from Phil Thompson. And the referee officiating here at Wembley for the fifth time is Clive Thomas of Porthcawl and Wales. So the Football League Cup is about to come of age, and I think the one-time ugly duckling spurned by the big-name clubs is now entitled to preen its newfound feathers, as its 21st birthday final brings together the best and most successful side of the last decade, and the one which has recently been adding to its reputation for appreciating the arts of the game. Kenny Dalglish and Steve Highway together. The pitch has had a great deal of rain on it during the course of the week. It'll be interesting to see just how slippery it is. It looks quite marvellous, and all the players were very complimentary about it when they tested it before the match. And the first test for Colin Irwin, and he's caught by David Cross. So the first free kick goes to Liverpool. And Souness unable to keep the ball in. Liverpool, who won the toss for the right to wear their normal colours. And so they are in all red. West Ham United in a basically white strip with a touch of the blue and claret. Paul Goddard, 17 goals this season. Marvellous partnership with David Cross, which has produced a total of 46. It's Phil Neal. And Kennedy didn't really go for it and almost fooled Alvin Martin. Here's Stewart. Jimmy Neighbour. Hansen. McDermott looking right where he finds Neal. Lampard in sharply. Ray Clements hoped he was going to get a feel of the ball then, but he wasn't given one. It's Alan Kennedy. Martin with a catch over his eye from the stitches that he's had. Oh, so that was a bit of a lively challenge by Alan Kennedy. And the referee wants words with him. And Alan Kennedy has made absolutely sure that Jimmy Neighbour knows that he's around. Jeff Pike. Bonds. And an early encampment in the Liverpool half by West Ham. Clements taking plenty of time, making his 32nd appearance here at Wembley. Bonds watching. Not too successfully until the end. So both goalkeepers have had a feel of this Football League ball. West Ham have used it 4 times this season, playing away from home, and remained unbeaten. Goddard. Foul by Henson. Goddard going one way, or suggesting that he was, and then came the other way, and Henson caught him. Booking takes. Bonds is there. In fact, an offside decision has been given. I thought for a moment the referee wasn't happy with the kick. Ray Clements, for sure, was not happy with what his defenders were doing. And Dalglish. And Lampard didn't really get there. Alvin Martin. And the bounce was in West Ham's favour. Souness certainly hasn't settled yet. Devonshire. Lampard. Neighbour wide to the right again. Played by Billy Bonds. Plenty of options for him. But in the end, Neighbour had come in, I think, assuming that Stewart was going to make an overlap. But Stewart probably not reading Neighbour's intentions, and probably being slightly concerned that as Bonds had gone forward, the defence may have been sprung a bit if Liverpool had gained possession. Dalglish, Souness, McDermott, and the free kick just outside the box. McDermott running across to the left. No doubt that the challenge was outside the area. Alan Devonshire who made it, and smiles from Terry McDermott. Well, he was going across that way. I'm not sure he'd have fancied himself to come back too quickly. Ray Kennedy is poised, so is Alan Kennedy, and so is Souness. 3 players on the near side as we look for Liverpool. One of them is Neil. Here's Sammy Lee. Oh, that's beautifully struck, but the flag is up, and it will not count for offside, I think, against Colin Irwin. It was very, very well struck by Sammy Lee. The pass from the free kick changed the angle completely. No question that Irwin, number 4, was offside. Goddard, cross. With a shirt pulling by Cross. And the kick has been given. David Cross, who was on the losing side when playing for Norwich against Spurs in '73. Believes in putting himself about a bit. Marks available, but invites Bonds to turn. Hansen. Dalglish. McDermott called for it, has given it well. Can he pull it back? Ray Kennedy coming in, number 5. And it's Pike again. And Dalglish. Magnificent save by Parks. McDermott delightfully pulled back, and then again, just look at the weight of this, a real teasing one. In came Dalglish, and the keeper got it with his left hand. Met by Martin. Here's Neil. Didn't really have the time to get on top of the ball. Couldn't keep it down. Stewart. Neighbour. Hasn't had too much change from Alan Kennedy. Bonds. 2 minutes to the interval. Mike. Devonshire comes away to the left, but Lee is conscious of that fact, or is he? Lampard's shot, oh my sake! That just about brushed the far post. And everybody was wondering what he was going to do with it. Lee had come inside and seemingly had left Devonshire, but Lampard decided to have a go, and look how close that was. And he scored a memorable goal in the semi-final of last year's FA Cup competition, which got his side to Wembley. Won't run. Well, that's a ball one from Billy Bonds, but he escapes. Sammy Lee, who apart from getting forward every time he can to support the attack, has certainly supported in front of Neil and denied Devonshire any runs on this near touchline. It's now just a question of what time Mr. Thomas is allowing for the odd stoppage. We haven't had a trainer on the pitch. Cross. Stewart. Two in the middle. Goddard and Devonshire. Booking. Devonshire. Goddard. Devonshire. But the whistle has gone for offside. See Mr. Thomas look at his watch yet. Neil. Forward for McDermott. Lee in the middle. Here is Lee. And Stewart denying him. Mr. Thomas now does look at his watch. West Ham supporters encourage him to blow the whistle for half-time. And indeed he has. So the 21st Football League Cup final reaches half-time with no goals on the board. Lee actually put the ball in the net, but the goal disallowed for offside against Colin Irwin. And Bob Paisley, who's seen his team a bit in fits and starts in recent months, goes off to talk to them in the dressing room. And the nearest that West Ham came to scoring was when their veteran defender, Frank Lampard, was just a whisker away from Ray Clemence's left-hand post. So the half-time score, Liverpool 0, West Ham United 0. So Sport, Hector Munro takes his seat. Passing Bob Lord. No question that the save of the first half was Phil Parkes' claw back with his left hand. And some statistics show that in corners Liverpool had 6 and West Ham 2. And there were 5 fouls, free kicks given against Liverpool and 11 against West Ham. 46-goal partnership. So gets the second half underway. Goddard and Cross. And here's Bonds. This stage in the cup final, West Ham had long since been in the lead against Arsenal. Curling back into play is Alan Hansen. Hansen being rather rooted in defence. We've seen more of Owen forward than we have of Hansen. Neighbour faced by Ray Kennedy. And out by Owen. Lampard. Probably had a bit to say about his shot during the half-time interval. Frank Lampard at the back there. Neil. Owen. Much of the game in the first period somewhat stifled in the middle. And Liverpool's quick breaks looking dangerous. West Ham building with many more passes. Free kick again goes to West Ham. And Liverpool were runners-up in '78 when they drew 0-0 here with Nottingham Forest and lost the replay. Here's Brooking. Stewart. Neighbour. Brooking. Got out again near post. Cross at the far. Neil flicking it away from him. West Ham maintaining the pressure and trying to find the opening. Here's Bonds. Brooking. Everything to his left. Played in early and well claimed by Clements from Goddard. Most of the noise coming from the supporters of West Ham to our right behind Ray Clements' goal. Devonshire. Going kindly for him. Goddard not finding what he wanted. Martin. Pike. Brooking. Cross. Neighbour to the right. Brooking wanted it played down the middle. And it would have got Brooking in, I think. Neighbour gets it in. And claimed right off the toes of David Cross by Ray Clements. What a really nice build-up that by West Ham United. Although there was a moment earlier when Brooking might have been played in down the middle, but Neighbour got round the back, pulled it across, and look at this claim off the boot of Cross by Ray Clements. Neil gets his chance with a bit of room. It's becoming increasingly end-to-end, if not of desperately high quality. Devonshire's down injured at the other end. Souness, Dalglish. Played by Alvin Martin. Devonshire cramp or the calf muscle. And it's Liverpool are going to make a substitution. And probably the expected one. We just saw the figure number 9 there being shown. And Steve Highway ends his Wembley career, which has been very impressive, going back to 1971. And he's replaced by Jimmy Case, who, like Highway, was one of the heroes of the first European Cup win in '77. Jimmy Case has got 25 minutes to play, assuming we don't need extra time. Here's Neil, there's Dalglish, saved by the legs of Parks. Alan Kennedy. Souness once more. Ray Kennedy. Oh, Semi-Lee called for it, but not there. Phil Parks has had to make the saves that have mattered. Good use of the legs. That's the move built on the right. Neil's cross, Dalglish going in, and the goalkeeper clearing with both shin bones. Brooking, and Goddard is onside. He's got away from Hansen, but he's got away from the goal too. And he was a little too hasty, I think. And he picks up and replaces a divot. How much did that divot cost him? I don't know. It was a very tight decision for the linesman. Brooking, who played it forward, reminiscent of Bobby Stokes in '76 for Southampton against Manchester United. Well, nothing to do with a divot. He just tried to lift it over the goalkeeper and got it all wrong. On by Lee. Here's Neighbour. Just away from Goddard. No, he clears it. Ash really ought to have been better. Free kick has been given against Hansen. Billy Bonds, just inside the 18-yard box. Goddard is nearer the ball. Bonds is at the back, gets the nod down, and really wasn't very far away. I think Ray Clements would have covered it anyway. Brookings free kick, and Bonds driving through to get it. Clements, I think, had that post covered. Pike. Ballet to go on, stifling each other. Or is there a moment of inspiration to come from somebody? Stewart, good enough, I'm sure, for another half an hour. Souness. McDermott gets away for a second, and in comes Dalglish. Alvin Martin, who was there first. It's a good piece of play by Terry McDermott. Seconds when nerves can prove decisive. And the corner for Liverpool. There will be a certain amount of jangling now among the West Ham players. Dalglish in the 6-yard box. Ray Kennedy on the penalty spot. Alan Hansen at the back gets the header. Dalglish! Again it's Martin. Hansen, Ray Kennedy, and again it's Martin. And he kept very, very cool there, having to dig the ball out. And it's the last action of the normal 90 minutes. We have extra time in the 1981 League Cup final. All set for the extra half an hour to decide who wins the 21st League Cup final. So often a stalemate in 90 minutes, a barren score sheet leads to something quite different in the extra time period. And our statistics make it that in terms of goal attempts at the end of 90 minutes, they were level at 7 each. But none of them managed to beat either Phil Parkes or Ray Clements. Liverpool up on corners 8-3, and the foul count also pretty even. 14 against West Ham, 10 against Liverpool. Bonds. And the Merseyside sound has found a voice. At the start of this extra time. They've had it before, but theirs is the greater crescendo at the opening. Last 9 League Cup finals have been decided by the minimal margin of 1 goal. And I think there might just be 1 goal in this final, could prove decisive. Neighbours cross, Devonshire's header. Neighbour with room to pull it back, got it roughly on the 6-yard line. Devonshire came forward, but his header was wide. Souness. That's right for the cross by Alan Kennedy, and well taken by Case. McDermott's gone up ahead, and Case again, and off the crossbar. There were 1 or 2 appeals going on then, but the referee has given a goal kick. Still complaining, the West Ham players, but if that had gone in, it would have counted. And Case going on with McDermott running ahead of him, really rattled the crossbar. Stewart. Caught by Stuart Pearson. He was warming up over there. I think that Devonshire is finding life a bit of a struggle. He's limping the last few moments. Lee. Oh, good early ball from Case. McDermott. Dalglish just on the penalty spot. Here's Ray Kennedy. And the corner given. Oh, seemingly yawning in front of Ray Kennedy. The shot deflected away. It's Case. That's a long way back. Comes straight to McDermott, who leaves it to Case. Pike. Goddard. Brooking. Stewart. Gives it away to Dalglish. Lee. Ray Kennedy. McDermott's come forward on the near side as we look, number 10. And here's Ray Kennedy. Souness. Case. And again a shot of some venom. That one a little higher than the previous one, clearing the crossbar. Really fine striker of the ball, just pushed it in front of him, set himself, but up and over. Rookie. Devonshire. It reaches Lampard. No room to go down the touchline. What about for Brooking? Lampard flicked it on. David Cross is underneath it. Oh, that's a fine save. It wouldn't have counted anyway, though. Back up on the far side against David Cross. But even so, it was a really fine reaction from Ray Clements. Brooking, just a flick up by Frank Lampard. And over the top from Ray Clements. No doubt that Bob Paisley's side is having, or has had, the best of this first period of extra time. Bonds. Look at his watch. And half-time it is. The manager's thinking about coming on, but strictly speaking, they're supposed to change straight round. John Lyle at least coming to the touchline. I think he's a bit concerned about it on Devonshire. Is it all right? Seemed to be that he was saying. Devonshire only was past fit this morning. He's battling through it. The goalkeepers, 15 minutes left to produce a replay, which won't be until April the 1st at Villa Park. Martin. Stuart Pearson warming up for by no means the first time. Looking on the right side, Hansen across. McDermott. McDermott into the gap. Lee has gone into the middle, Dalglish is already there, and it's very well claimed. Souness, Case, looking for Dalglish. And Bill Parks has given a performance of complete authority, marked by one exceptional save in the first half. Cross. Really hasn't had any sniff at what would have been his 30th goal. And he's now to have a new partner up front. Stuart Pearson is going to replace young Paul Goddard. Pearson has a little under 11 minutes to play. Two winners' medals in the FA Cup, Pearson has. Dalglish. Stewart. Pearson looking long for David Cross. Sadly for West Ham, it's too long for David Cross. It was the right ball, even so. Well, Trevor Brooking, when he was asked yesterday about the match, he said, "You look first at the goalkeepers." And we have on the field two of the best. And they look as though they're going to take us to a replay. Case, McDermott with the run, covered by Devonshire, and the free kick has been given against Bonds, who's very unhappy about the verdict. Dalglish was prepared to smile, and not surprisingly. Well, it was from a free kick that Liverpool got the ball in the net once, and it was ruled out because of Irwin's run. Irwin has taken a position this time nearest us on the near side, number 4. We might see a crack here from Case. We do indeed. It comes back off Brooking, I think. Alan Kennedy's poached forward. There's Irwin. Bonds at the back. Martin only to Alan Kennedy, who puts it in! And Alan Kennedy, no, it's not going to count. It's not going to count. They're going over to the linesman. Is it going to count? Yes, it is going to count. And Alan Kennedy has scored with his right foot. Pearson goes to talk to the linesman on the far side, Mr. Jeremy. Great complaints from West Ham as Liverpool go away to congratulate each other, and the referee is going again to talk to the linesman. A goal it is. 3 minutes from time, and the much vaunted front players who were thought to be those who would decide it. In the end, Alan Kennedy, who's twice been on the losing side here, scores what surely must be the decisive goal of this 1981 League Cup final. A man famed for his ability on his left. The clearance from Alvin Martin, and Kennedy sinks it with his right, and he'll remember that for many a long day. Here's Pike. West Ham will complain about it long too. A real tussle. And here's Alan Kennedy. Oh, we got a nasty kick on the shin then from Stewart, and the referee, I think, is going to put Stewart. That really was total frustration from the Scotsman, who took it out on the goal scorer. There was nothing the matter with Alan Kennedy's striking of the ball. It was what was going on ahead that West Ham complained about, and they looked for the linesman's flag, which didn't come. Brooking. Alan Kennedy. And Brooking again. Hansen. And we make it 15 seconds left on the watch. Referee will add a little more for the odd stoppage, and certainly about the complaint. Devonshire again. Plenty of West Ham players forward. One of them is Bonds, he can't get near it. Put away by Owen. Jimmy Neighbour. Oh, he squirmed away this time. Devonshire just will not run. Free kick has been given right on the edge of the box. Bonds wants it inside, but the referee says right on the edge. And I think Mr. Thomas was right. Devonshire down hurt. So there'll be more seconds to be added on. Neighbour, who squirmed away, came off the defender. Devonshire had it and was fouled by Owen, and certainly it was outside. But is there to be a further twist in the tale? One goal by Alan Kennedy, and West Ham thought that a player was offside. Sammy Lee, I think. Ray Stewart poised. Save by Ray Clements. They all go to congratulate him. And he's kept the Football League Cup in Liverpool's hands. Neighbour with the corner. Alvin Martin hit the crossbar. Penalty. It was handled up by Terry McDermott. What I said as we started extra time, so often what has gone before in 90 minutes changes totally in the extra 30-minute period, and it's all come right at the end. The ball turned onto the crossbar by Terry McDermott from the header by Alvin Martin. 6 of his 7 goals this season have come from the penalty spot, but none as important as this. And he puts it in. And Clements is down on his knees as they go to congratulate Ray Stewart. Clements, who made the most brilliant save a few seconds ago, now finds that it will be a replay. Surely there is nothing else left. And indeed, the final whistle has gone, and the replay it will be at Villa Park on April the 1st. West Ham saving themselves at the death, and no wonder John Lyle goes to congratulate first Ray Stewart there. But it seemed that Ray Clements, allied to the goal by Alan Kennedy, had won the cup for Liverpool, but it was not to be. Dramatic end to a League Cup final which didn't quite match its pre-match billing. And Clive Thomas has had his book out, and I don't know whose name he's put in, and it would appear to be that he's taken the name of the West Ham manager, John Lyle. So both sides will go up and meet the retiring president of the Football League, Lord Westwood, but neither will collect from him the Football League Cup. By the time they try again on the 1st of April, Bob Lord will be the acting president. Ray Kennedy goes through, Jimmy Case, who had a good spell when he came on, Sammy Lee, who had the ball in the net and it was wiped out. And that's the only moment that Colin Owen won't remember with affection. Alan Kennedy, who scored with his right foot. Steve Highway, Alan Hansen, Terry McDermott, still with the smile of the tiger. Kenny Dalglish, who battled without having a particularly memorable match. And the West Ham side, Paul Goddard, who found that Alan Hansen knew a bit too much for him here. Pike, who had a good game. Stewart, whose penalty brought the replay after Martin's header had been turned on the crossbar. And Trevor Brooking, the last to come down. And Clive Thomas proving that whatever the game, the concentration right to the end for the referee. A little sad that he had to put the West Ham manager's name in the book. That's what seemed to have happened. And the protests that West Ham made about the Liverpool goal can now be forgotten because they have to do it all again at Villa Park on April the 1st.
So a game that would surely have been quickly forgotten as a result of that last 5 minutes is destined to be discussed for many years to come, not the least by the two goal scorers, Ray Stewart for West Ham and Alan Kennedy for Liverpool.
Very fortunate because at the time when I kicked the ball, I think Sammy Lee was on the floor and it was hotly disputed by the West Ham players. And possibly he could have been offside, but I don't know, and the referee gave it.
And Ray Stewart, who got the equaliser, Ray, how did you, do you think it was offside?
Well, honestly, in my opinion, I thought it was offside, but the referee's correct, so you can't argue it. I mean, I got a book later on because of my argument, even though I kicked him, but...
Alan, let me just ask you about your goal. The staggering thing, right foot, when you're notably a left-footed player.
Yes, well, it came perfect on the right foot, and I'll be honest with you, I have been practicing with it the last few weeks because I had an injury to my left leg about 7 weeks ago, and I've been practicing with it, and it came off perfectly.
Do you think it's helped, that injury?
It must have, because the ball went in the net.
Now, let me take you, Ray, to that very dramatic conclusion to the game, because there wasn't time to restart. Now, just tell us about that penalty incident.
Oh, just as it's going up to Billy Bond said to me, just take your time, if you miss, it doesn't matter. And that really helped me.
It's a good penalty, though,
did you have no fear in the
Well,
back of your mind?
I never knew how long to go, and Billy just said, if you miss, you miss. It's all over. And I just went up and I kept my head and I stuck it away.
And you had no doubt about the actual penalty in the first place, that Terry McDermott...
Well, I never really seen it. I never even seen the ball hitting the net, so...
You must have been closer to that.
He did handle it, he tipped it on the bar, yes. I think it would have went in anyway, so, I mean, Terry did the right thing. Unfortunately, unfortunately for us, he scored.
A memorable day indeed for those two, as it was in another way for two others involved, referee Clive Thomas and West Ham's manager John Lyle. Just look at this morning's headlines, and whatever else you might say about them, they're certainly not good for football's reputation, but that's for others to pass judgment on. But is there justification for such happenings, or should those involved bite their tongues and say nothing? In any event, they didn't, and here are the views of the principal, starting with Clive Thomas on Liverpool's hotly disputed goal.
Yes, he shot, and Sammy was lying on the... I think it's a Sammy Lee is sitting lying on the 6-yard box, and the goal was scored. My linesman, Mike, in his opinion, quite rightly flagged for offsides. He thought that Sammy Lee was interfering with play. I didn't think he was interfering with play. In no way can I agree with my linesman in that respect, because the player was lying on the ground. And then... of course, the West Ham players felt that because the linesman had flagged, I should have gone over to him. So this is where I bad refereeing now. I run over to him, over to my linesman, but only halfway, and then telling him, right, you go back to the halfway line. Instead of going all the way over to the touch line and saying, now go back to the halfway line. So the players, rightly so, West Ham, said, look, you haven't even discussed it with your linesman. So that was bad refereeing. So then I felt it right to go over and explain to Mike, look, in my opinion, the player was not interfering with play.
So whereas Irwin was interfering with play, in your opinion, with Lee, there was...
That's right. This player, how can he be? It'd be interesting to watch tomorrow anyway. How can he be when he's lying on the floor? And it is I that overruled the linesman. And if you look at it, that was the only black spot between the three of us. I thought that we had a great game.
Now, there was clearly no problem with the penalty. It was clearly a penalty, a handball by Terry McDermott. But then came the final whistle almost immediately, and it appeared really that John Lyle, the West Ham manager, was objecting fairly strongly.
Yes, unfortunate. You know, I can accept to a certain extent a manager sort of frustrated in that situation. But there's things I'm prepared to take. I'm certainly not prepared to take anyone in this country or outside the country calling me a cheat. No one's ever done it.
And John Lyle actually accused you of that?
Oh, well, and he'd be reported accordingly. No one calls me that, because I'm not one.
And was there a fairly strong argument at that time, Clive?
No, it was really Bob Paisley came over, and typical Bob Paisley said, no, he didn't mean it, Clive, let's forget it and all that. You know, that's typical of him anyway.
So you booked John, and then he
and
will
booked
be
two players, didn't I? Number 2 and number 10, I think.
And then he'll be reported to the Football League.
Oh, yes, most strongly.
I'm in football. I train players hard. They work hard. We try and work at the right things. The situation involved with their first goal was a situation where the ball was cleared out the box and we left one of their players in there, although he was on the ground, and we certainly felt he was interfering with play.
That, you would agree, is the referee's decision ultimately, whether he's interfering or not?
Inevitably, the referee has the right to make any decision he pleases, but it's football is a great game of emotion, and when players, and we've worked tremendously hard at the club this year, and when things go against you like that, and the referee and the linesman make decisions, and I have to accept them, but understandably I get emotional over them.
You train your players, as lots of clubs do, to clear the box quickly from those sort of situations, expecting the officials to be awake and give the right decisions, don't you?
All we do is work to get people out of the box as quickly as possible. Then, beyond that, all I expect is the officials to do what they have to do.
Do you accept also that by playing those tactics, at times, human error is going to let you down?
I just play the tactic, and I think 91 other clubs in professional football play the tactic. It's as simple as that.
What about the actual words that took place between yourself and Clive Thomas? Do you regret that in retrospect?
Yes, certainly. I mean, Clive and I have been good friends and we've spoken lots of times, but unfortunately there's emotion involved, and if I've said the wrong thing, all I can do is apologise. But, you know, we say lots of things in football privately, and you make certain statements, and we all do it, and if you say the wrong thing, all you can do is apologise, and if I've done the wrong thing, I'll be the first to apologise. I'm that sort of person, but I'm still entitled to a point of view, which I've got and which I'll keep.
John Lyle, regretful but adamant about the original view he took of the incident. But the man who had the unhappy task of picking Alan Kennedy's shot out of the net was goalkeeper Phil Parkes, and this is how he saw it.
Yeah, I spoke to him after the game, Clive, and he said that yes, he was offside. He agreed he was offside and he wasn't interfering with play, and yet he was lying on the penalty spot. So, I mean, the same old argument will come in. If he wasn't interfering with play on the penalty spot, well...
Well, what to say now to do justice to those concerned? To start with, in my view, Clive Thomas is an excellent referee, and his outstanding quality is that in the most difficult area of refereeing, that's interpreting physical clashes accurately, he's superb. His manner, much less flamboyant these days, is relaxed and confident because he knows what he's doing. And how could he then suddenly make a judgment about interfering, which, unless I'm wrong, would be supported by very few of his colleagues? Well, I think his supreme confidence in his own ability and honesty, as you've heard him say, might be his Achilles heel. If the mood takes him, he'll stretch a law or the application of a law beyond its natural limits, as we've seen on more than one previous occasion. Yesterday, I believe that attitude resulted in an illogical decision, but he can still referee my team anytime he likes.